Well, folks, we got good news. We are the final session of the day. Give yourselves a round of applause. You made it to the final session. Amazing. Amazing. Please stay for the awards session that we have happening at 5:30 in this room. It's going to be great. We're going to give out these incredible awards to incredible teams that have been doing amazing things. Do we have a clicker up here?
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
I gotcha.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll drive.
Just
I'll
middle
drive.
button.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. So I am so thrilled to be joined by Max Greene, one of our ultimate customer success managers for SupportLogic, and we're going to be talking to you about improving customer retention with these predictive support signals that we've been kind of talking about all day. So let's start with a look at the market, right? CX is more important than ever. We all know this, and I think these stats really say it. You're looking at loyalty. You're looking at unsatisfactory experiences. You're looking at the likelihood of customers staying with you, right? And these stats really paint a big picture. Max, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't want to beat a dead horse. I think y'all have seen this slide a couple times, today, right? But customer experience in support is more important than ever to customer retention because your support teams talk to your customers more than anyone else. That's what it comes down to. We know this.
Absolutely. So how do we make sure we're on the right side of those stats? This is really our hypothesis as a company, is that you can only grow if you're acting and understanding on the unbiased signals from every interaction. And this is what's so exciting about NLP, natural language processing, for complex support, for the B2B support that we're all talking about today. But this has not been easy, right, Max?
Right.
We see stats like this about AI implementation being hard, right? CIO Magazine is telling us that organizations are having a hard time building these models, getting the adoption they want. And what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle, right? Organizations have been struggling to adopt AI in a scalable way, right? And so, how do you kind of solve for that, right? You start with a measured solution, simple use cases, right? And that's what you can do with NLP.
Absolutely. And looking at a few more stats, and I promise, I think these are the only stats left that we have to throw at you today. But building this stuff internally is hard, and this is proving it, right? This is an IBM research paper that we read that is showing how difficult this is as well. Building it in-house is taking longer than expected. So where do you start? And this is our hypothesis for this presentation, is this idea of unified observability for all of what we're calling post-sales customer interactions, right? Post-sales CX. Yep. And let's get into what that is. So I've got a little bit of an eye chart on here for you. It's something that you saw this morning in Krishna's keynote. This is really showing what we mean by unified observability. This is showing you that across these channels, across these functional groups, and across these systems of record, you're getting a layer taking all of that raw data, all that messy data in, reading it, extracting it, applying AI to it, and then really getting insights from it. That's such an exciting thing when you look across these systems of record, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really just about once you can tap into these signals and you can share them with other teams beyond just support, right? That's what, I mean, we're here to talk about how they can impact retention, right? How they impact success in sales. And that's where the value of these signals come in. And now with AI, you can actually categorize and share very easily.
Absolutely. So we're going to throw a couple of analogies at you because I think they're really great for kind of understanding what we mean by unified observability and looking at it in a couple different ways. The first way is looking at it as a safety, right? So often, without being able to look at these pieces of unstructured data, without being able to look at the sentiment, oftentimes your customer interactions are going from red to green. From green to red. You've got a good situation, and now you've got a problem situation. And wouldn't it be great if you could take a middle situation and bring it back to green before it gets bad? And now I will go to green. Sorry, I had to throw the pun out there. I got to see if folks are awake.
Right. The whole point of real-time sentiment analysis is that you are able to get to the customer before they turn red.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So you get to yellow, you bring it back to green. Ideally, we saw that in the earlier video with regards to Salesforce. Right. You can turn that sentiment from negative back to positive before the end of the case.
Absolutely. And then one more analogy for you. We like to also think of unified observability as a baseline, right? Think of you're in the market for a house. You may walk through the door, you see a bad floor, you see a stove that's out of code, but you know that you don't start at those things that you see first, right? You need the complete inspection. You need to see the whole picture of the house. What's the roof like? What's the foundation like? That's the smart way of getting into a house and figuring out what to do. And with sentiment analysis on your data, you get to see that whole picture. You get to establish that baseline for your customer experience. And then with that baseline, then you can improve your outcomes and your efficiency and dedicate your time to deflection or knowledge base or the things that you want to install, a chat bot. All the time we hear of companies installing a chat bot with no sentiment analysis.
Right.
So now you're almost flipping a switch on interactions with your customers through an automated channel. You got to have that sentiment analysis first.
Right, you don't even have an agent or engineer who can tell you that the interaction went poorly. So the only time you're going to hear about it is if it comes from a CSAT survey.
Absolutely. So what does this do for you? This is another slide that we've got here about unified observability being so important for investment. Max, when you look across these 4 elements, what jumps out to you?
Right. I think what jumps out at me most is, we've all been working out of siloed systems forever, right? And the whole idea behind unified observability and an analysis of all post-sale interactions, analysis of all your support interactions, is that you can use a single platform to highlight that information to you, whether it be via alerting or using the SupportLogic UI. This all becomes possible when you're using a single platform to analyze and capture these signals.
Absolutely. So, and these benefits are company-wide, right? We talk to a lot of customers and we talk to a lot of prospects who are seeing these benefits across the left side of this slide, obviously the support folks, also customer success, and then down the right side as well. Because now you're able to share these insights with product. IT now has a system that they don't have to support as much because of the partnership that we provide. And then executives are getting a full view of customers. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right. And in addition to that, the value of sentiment analysis and the signals out to sales and success teams, and then, while that is very much what we're talking about now with regards to using these for retention, but for those of you who weren't in the other session that we did in the other room about identifying upsell opportunities, we are about to launch 2 new signals, one for renewals and one for expansion, that will be detected on your cases. So beyond just positive and negative sentiment, we're now specifically going to call out when customers are talking about renewal, there are potentially a risk in that capacity, or that there's an opportunity to upsell or explore other opportunities with them. Right? So these are 2 new signals that are coming that are going to round out this experience even more for customer success teams.
That's really cool to hear because I give an open demo every Friday on the product. One of my favorite things to show is the product signals, where a product team can come in and they can look across 3 months of any part of the product, any capability of the product, and see what the feature requests are and the documentation requests. So now customer success teams, people that are in charge of growth in your company, can go into your support data and see those upsell and cross-sell opportunities easily because those tags happen across your cases and they're always there.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So we've talked about unified observability, starting with sentiment analysis. And I don't think we need to harp too much on this room about what sentiment analysis means, what these tags mean, right?
Yeah, we've covered this in detail, so we won't belabor the point.
Absolutely. And here's a quick shot of the original 40 signals that we detect, missing those 2 new ones, of course.
Missing the 2 new ones, yeah.
And let's really get into some of this area. So Max, can you talk us through how this looks within SupportLogic?
Yeah, so customer health, as we've spoken about, your support teams speak to your customers more than any other individual, right? And so the wealth of information within support tickets, both in the unstructured text and how they're communicating with you and you're communicating back with them, but also customer health is kind of best understood, not just in the sentiment itself, but also with the metadata surrounding the cases, right? So is this customer, right, it's not necessarily a good thing if a customer that's opening 5 to 10 cases a month with you is all of a sudden opening no cases, right? That's a sign of no engagement, which is, could mean a lot of things. It can mean, maybe the admin of your platform has left the company, right? That's a disaster as well, right? Or maybe they've just stopped using your software, right? So like being able to look at these things as part of a holistic picture of customer health. In addition to that, like customers that are have a lot of cases open with you that are how-to cases versus have engineering issues tagged to them, right? Tagged via Jira or whatever the system of record. Customer that has a lot of those tickets open is likely a higher risk than customers that most of the tickets they open are how-to, right? So all of these things in conjunction with also the sentiments that's being detected on the cases themselves provides a holistic picture of customer health.
Yeah.
And this is presented within the SupportLogic platform.
That's a great point. And if you couldn't tell by now, this presentation, a lot of this is a real wrap-up and culmination of a lot of what we do, because it all kind of bubbles up to retaining your customers, getting better customer relationships, and that goes beyond the product and being inside the platform and extends to some of these great integrations that we have out of the box, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Your customer success teams, they're probably not working out of your ticketing system, right? Or not. Sometimes they might be in it occasionally, but that's really the last place that they want to be, to be honest, right? Yeah. So with our combination of our alerting capabilities, which allow you to meet your other stakeholders where they are using signals, right, and using our alerts, but also integrations into other customer success tools, and that's what we're about to show.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our Gainsight integration, and Max, tell me how it works.
Yeah, so our Gainsight integration looks for a couple key signals that are being detected on customer cases, right? So negative sentiment, cases that are likely to escalate, churn risk signals, soon to include also the renewal signals and the expansion signals, right? And it actually it's a very straightforward implementation. It just leverages our alerts API, which is the same API that fires our alerts, to inject these signals directly into Gainsight, right? And the same integration could be in a relatively straightforward way actually leveraged to integrate into other customer success platforms as well, right? So it's just about getting those signals out of support and injecting them into other systems, which is where your customer success teams are actually spending their time and working, because you want to augment their existing workflows. You don't want to add new workflows to those unnecessarily, because then you're not going to get any adoption. That's what it comes down to.
That's a great point. I'm going to tee you up for this slide. This is one of my favorite slides that we have, and this is such a point that you like to talk about, where we're taking these AI-generated signals and these NLP-generated signals, and we're taking the metadata out of your cases. And there's such an opportunity when these come together, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the sentiment signals and all that are generated off the unstructured text, right? And 90% of the conversations that you have with your customers, 90% of it is unstructured data. But the structured data is really important as well, because by correlating the signals detected on the unstructured data with all of the metadata, right? With this amount of frustration being detected on cases associated with this particular product feature that we have, right? Or this amount of confusion being detected on cases that are owned by this region of my support organization, right? When you're able to look at these and how they correlate together, it creates opportunity, not just for the confusion example. Maybe there are enablement opportunities for my team, right? Maybe they are not, they just need some additional training on how they're engaging with customers on these support cases, right? Or if frustration just happens to be associated predominantly with a particular product feature, right, that recently had a release, or even if it didn't have a release, that's an incredible amount of information that can be shared back with product and engineering teams, right? You can actually go to a product and engineering supported by data and kind of solves or answers the age-old question of, is it a problem with the support I'm providing or a problem with the product that I'm supporting, right? And for us here, we would love to be able to always say that it's actually a problem with the product that we're supporting. So wealth of information available in that data.
Yep. Thank you for that. So wrapping up a lot of what we've talked about, right? These are 5 quick ways, and maybe you're a customer, maybe you're interested in SupportLogic. you know about the escalation prediction, you know about the case assignment that we do, but when it comes to what customer success can get out of this, when it comes to what you can get from being able to retain your customers, grow your customer relationships, these are 5 quick ways, right,
Yep.
that can happen.
Yeah, and a simple example there, right? Confusion can also be an indicator of an opportunity to provide training to customers, right? Enablement opportunities for customers. Maybe that's a paid offering that you do, right? In addition to that, like positive signals for cross-sells and testimonials, right? We always need more testimonials from our customers. So if we see a customer that is continuously providing positive, detecting positive signals on cases with them, maybe it's an opportunity to reach out and see if they're willing to do a case study or a testimonial. It's particularly important when you're offering kind of scaled customer success, digital customer success, where you're not meeting with your customers all the time. Then support is often the only people talking to them, right? So leveraging those signals to find these opportunities can be really valuable.
Absolutely. You did a session about an hour ago all about upsell.
Yep.
And I don't know if everyone saw it.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting one, right?
Yeah, absolutely, right? And that ties into the new renewal and expansion signals, right? And for those of you who didn't see it, I believe all the sessions were recorded.
Yes.
Right? So
thank you for reminding me. It's going to take the team of elves that work at SupportLogic a little bit of time, but we're going to get all the sessions up on SX Live, library.sxlive.com, so you'll be able to see everything. We've recorded all the sessions today, so those will be up, and we'll let you know, obviously.
yeah,
So getting into one of my favorite subjects here, the hard dollar savings of preventing what we call this revenue leakage, right? You can look at this across a few different ways. You're getting these reactive predictors, you're getting these proactive predictors across these different scores, right?
yeah. I mean, this just ties back to we want to move from reactive to proactive, right? So customers with lots of escalations, higher risk of renewal risk and higher risk of churn, consistent poor CSAT surveys, absolutely higher risk of churn, right? But leveraging sentiment, account health, all of these real-time indicators can really allow you to prevent the loss of that revenue, or at least mitigate it before, yeah.
This is a slide that you saw this morning, and what we're really showing here is that this is not the kind of thing that you sign up for and that your IT team has to deal with setting up themselves, right? What we're really providing is that solution for serious enterprise customers, right? For folks who want that business partner to make sure that the software they invest in is a success. And this happens across these 4 different areas here. You can see the flexible infrastructure that enterprises expect. You can see the all-in-one solution that enterprises expect. They don't want to buy 5 solutions for 5 different use cases across customer support. The expertise in what is built across these different areas like onboarding and customer success. And then the community, and it's funny that we're bringing that up here because I think it's self-evident, of live events and best practices, which we've shown, certifications, and a library of content and opportunities to connect. So this really kind of runs the gamut, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then this is kind of where we close things off, just showing a slide that you already saw this morning, if you were here, of what our customers are seeing. And I'm sorry, the end of this presentation feels a little bit like a hard sell. But we're excited about these results that our customers are getting. So Max, do you have something to end with?
Yeah, no, just this is thanks for sticking it out with us throughout the day, right? We'll give you a little bit of extra time before the awards session.
Yep.
And thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. It was a 20-minute session that we did in 20 minutes.